Hello, everybody. We're glad you're here with us.
Yeah.
That's all I've got.
That's okay. Well, actually, that's not true. You do have a story.
I have a story.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know where this is going to take us. It might take us absolutely nowhere, but one of our sweet editors here said it was intriguing. So here we go. All
And
right.
he's the same guy who did the birthday survey.
is.
I've had so many people come up to me
Yes,
to say, "Who did the
Steven!"
birthday survey? Can he send it to me too?" And like so that kind of thing.
That
so
would actually be really
yeah,
interesting.
so it's the same guy. Birthday surveys. He finds things that are valuable. So
So here we go.
Yeah.
We'll
He should
see.
write a survey for the church. That'd be really fun.
No, it's a special.
Okay.
it's for his birthday.
Okay, so my daughter's 10 years old, and she is in basketball right now, and she's doing a great job. Like my husband and I keep saying it's really fun to have an aggressive player out there in a healthy way, not because our other daughter's a little more timid and stuff.
Yeah,
So it's kind of
yeah.
fun to see like elbows and her really get into it.
Yeah.
She's a smart player. So we. A couple weeks ago, there was a snowstorm on Saturday, and I don't know if you guys remember, but things were shutting down and everything, and we're like, oh, her game's gonna get canceled. It's totally gonna get canceled. Well, it didn't. It didn't get canceled, and it was in Eaton, which from our house is about half an hour away.
Yeah.
So, we're like, okay, we're going. This is happening. We're doing it. So we told her, go get your shoes on. Well, she starts to put on her basketball shoes. And me and my husband go, oh, honey, don't put those on because it's snowing and wet. We'll take them with, that way they're not sliding around. So she proceeds to put on her boots. And keep in mind, these are sparkle Ugg boots.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, the sparkles all
Beautiful.
over them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we get in the car. We're driving there. The roads are kind of...
Don't tell me she forgot her shoes.
We're going to get there.
Oh gosh, like I'm feeling anxiety. Like it's there.
So we're driving. We get there. We go into their facility there, which is beautiful, by the way. And we're sitting, and I see one of her coaches come in, and she's wearing boots. And she takes them off and starts to put on her tennis shoes. And I said, oh my goodness, her shoes. And I looked down at her feet, and yeah, there's her sparkly boot. We completely forgot. Okay, so at this point...
This is such a good story.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Man.
Well, wait.
It gets better.
The reason it gets better is, okay, so there's this whole thing. I'm gonna side trail,
Yeah.
but I'll come back. Okay.
Okay.
So there's this whole thing. Reese Witherspoon, if you know who she is, she does this beautiful thing, like feminist and everything, talking about she hates the point in movies when women go, what do we do now? Okay. But I am the quintessential woman of what do we do now? So I look at my husband and go, what are we going to do? Like, I don't problem solve in these situations.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we'll just drive back. But by the time we would drive, the game would be over. That's two 20-minute halves, okay? So I'm looking at my daughter, who at this point has realized, because she's oblivious, but she now knows. And like, what am I going to do? What am
Please
I
tell
gonna
me
do?
she plays in her boots.
She rocked it in her boots,
That's
you
it.
guys.
And how many points did she score?
9.
And what does she
Whoa.
normally score?
Not 9. So she had this moment sitting on the couch where she teared up because of embarrassment and everything. And some of her other teammates weren't there yet. And, it was like, you feel for her and you're like, it's okay. It's okay. The whole time my husband isn't thinking she can't play. Or he was worried that they wouldn't let her play. He was like, I knew she could do it in her boots, but they were white soles.
Yeah.
So they didn't say anything. So she's out there playing in these boots. I'll give you a clip here so that you can put not a video, but a picture of her playing in these sparkle boots. And yeah, and it was a beautiful thing as her teammates came in, rather than her feeling this like embarrassment, she got over it. They were like, what size shoe do you wear? They're like looking like, well, maybe we can switch off, like to help her. They weren't able to do that because all of them have smaller feet. But they were like trying, and then they just started like, just kind of rallying around her, like, maybe you'll play really well. And then when she did start playing well, all the parents were like, it's the boots! It's the boots!
Yeah,
and by
nice.
the end of the game, they won, which was great. It was this, like, funny, be sure to bring your boots next time,
Wow.
So it was such a shift in, like, to that was amazing. And I even told my husband on the way home, I was like, I am so happy this story happened today. Like, it was great.
Yeah.
Man, that can go in a bazillion different directions.
Yes.
So many.
It's like super empowering. It's inspiring. It's about identity, and I don't like. There's tons of things there, and just that idea of something that you could be embarrassed of becomes your superpower, or becomes the thing that elevates the whole experience, because there's going to be a ton of basketball games that happen that you are going to forget about, but you're not going to forget that one.
Yeah.
Or it's not just the embarrassment. It can also go the route of like you step into a situation not equipped with what you're normally equipped with, or you want to be equipped with. Like, oh no, I forgot.
Yeah.
My
to think about
cheeseburger.
this.
My cheeseburger.
Or like just coming in. Yeah.
That was the first thing into
I
mind.
forgot
Yeah.
about my cheeseburger. Guess what's happening after we record this? Yeah.
McDonald's.
Cheeseburger. Yeah. But yeah, just like any way we feel like it's like, oh man, like I didn't put in the time, or I don't have the whatever it is.
Skill set.
It's the what do I do now? What do I do now?
When and I love for Delaney too that she just showed up.
Yeah.
Right? Like a lot of times that's the most important thing. It's like, all right, I'm here. And I'm gonna do what I need to do, what my team wants me to do, and like who cares that I'm wearing, sparkly Ugg boots. Like there's something so beautiful about that. And I not to make it all religious or anything, but like
that's what we're here for.
yeah, that's true. Like I think God operates in the same way sometimes. Like how often are we?
God is the God of the sparkly boots.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, because like how often do we say no to something or say we can't do something because I'm not equipped or I don't have experience or I'm not like fill in the blank for whatever that thing is. And God is like the parent just saying like, no, get on the court, go play.
They're gonna let you.
They're gonna let you. And it's like, like that's so cool. I think we have a podcast title though. The God of Sparkling
Hamburger. Oh, sorry.
Cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
But I think about like Jesus feeding the 5,000. Like it was such a similar story where like this kid comes up, he's like, I got some fish and some bread. Like I don't know, looking around, there's thousands of people
Yeah.
here, and then everyone ate, and there was a bunch of stuff left over, like more than he even brought to Jesus in the first place, and yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so have you ever had a sparkly boots experience?
That's what I was trying to think.
Yeah.
I got a story.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back in the spring, I get contacted by a television company, an outdoor television company, and they want to do a show on the beehives that I have and plus hunting and all that stuff. And so I get so excited because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm up here now. Like I'm going to be on TV. And so this crew comes out, they do a show in the secret cabin. We're doing a whole lot of behind the scenes things. And then I had already like pre-packed the truck for all the beehive things to go out to the hives because they aren't at the house. And so there's this television crew, like who they're an actual crew. It's cool. And so it takes about a half an hour to get out to the hives, and we get out there, and I find that I forgot the smoker, and
Calm the bees down.
so like my heart sinks, like oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do, and there's a soda can in the back of my truck. And so I'm like, I'm gonna build a smoker out of a soda can. And so I put I put some things that they're in the soda can, and I poke a hole out the other side, and I start blowing in there, and smoke starts coming out. It turned into the epicenter of the whole show of like how funny it had been that here's a soda can, it's not that hard, and people were poking fun of it the whole time, but how cool is that you don't have to have all the proper equipment and you can be inventive and like I think that became for me like something I was very proud of. But if I didn't forget the smoker, that could not have happened. That's my sparkly
That's your
boots
sparkly
boots
boots.
moment. Someone else.
All that I can think of is when I just wear the boots, but nothing amazing happened.
I was just embarrassed.
Filled with shame and guilt.
Like I'm thinking of the moment that you're like, what do I do now? And I've had a lot of those, but I haven't had like overcoming. So somebody else go. Maybe something will pop into my head.
There's been a lot of conversations in youth ministry where I've been like talking to parents of a teenager, and and this has happened in the season where I had no kids at all, and seasons where like my kids were like 6 years old at best, and just feeling like I have not even stepped foot into the world that these people are in, and yet they're asking for my help and my advice in this situation. And then stepping out of the conversation being like, I am very surprised that went as well as it did, and I'm glad I was able to help in any way. But like, it felt literally like wearing sparkly boots into this meeting. It's like I'm a child, like compared.
I am closer
to
to your kid's age
Yeah.
than yours.
No kidding,
But let me
like-
tell you how to parent them.
Right, exactly. And if my authority is questioned, look at my boots. Like,
They're beautiful boots.
yeah, you can trust me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of any for me. I mean, I'm sure like they probably happen,
Right.
but like because I am such a planner and like those moments make me so incredibly
You have basketball shoes all the
uncomfortable.
time.
Well, like seriously, like and I think there's like that fear of like, well, what if I do go to the game in sparkly boots? And so like
I'm
I
the same
actually
way.
kind of overplan and
Yep, me too.
it kind of makes me wonder like what fun stories do I miss out on because of that? Like just the opportunity to be able to step into a situation and experience it for what it is. Like I'm very much a planner, and it's like, all right, I know what the outcomes are going to be, and things for the most part kind of go how I envision them in my head. And that's great. But then I hear a story like this and I'm like, like how cool is that? Like what happened in that game exceeded everybody's expectations, and it was beautiful and it was holy and it was fun. And it's like, like I want more moments like that. So I don't know, maybe I need to just start forgetting stuff.
All right, so taking that idea and concept and putting it into practicality, right? Our faith, our spiritual life, our daily encounters, and the idea of the sparkly boot concept, it kind of has this poetic hand holding to the Holy Spirit having space to do what the Holy Spirit does. And I know I've definitely being a planner too, like the goal is to plan everything out so chaos doesn't happen. But if chaos is the place that God kind of shines, if I have an existence that's void of chaos or void of fear or void of, I don't really have to have God show up because I am awesome. There aren't those sparkly boots types of moments. And all of us on the teaching team have seen like some of our best times have happened during those sparkly boots moments. And like there's this time that I was doing a sermon and this bird flew in the sanctuary. It was flying all around, and I was like, this is a gift because it created chaos, and you can capture that. Or like that's
fire alarm went off.
Fire alarm, or the kids crying, or but it almost you almost want to then begin to build out your sermons so that they aren't complete. That there are spots that going into it, it's very unfinished here, but it's going to be finished in the moment because the Holy Spirit is going to do something cool here.
Yeah, that's really good.
So how do you then like take that concept into a daily experience of being excited to keep ththings open-ended to see the things like God's going to do.
So last week we had our monthly pastors meeting, and in there, we were talking a lot about this idea of like asking questions, right? And we watched a video and
The right question.
yeah, the right questions, but just being in this position where instead of like talking at somebody, you actually take time to ask questions. So I'm like, hey, Stetson, like, how was your weekend? And you go, it was good. I'm like, oh, what'd you do? Like, I went and saw a movie. Oh, what movie did you? And then you kind of go on this journey in there versus like, oh, cool. Well, let me not tell you about my weekend. I wonder, taking that position of asking questions, like, what does it look like for these sparkly boot moments to actually have that posture for the way we experience life? So as we go through the day, it's not this definitive, I do this, that, and then the other thing, and then I'm home and I go to bed and I wake up and I do it again tomorrow. It's like, well, what if I ask questions throughout the day? It's like, okay. Like, maybe I discover something in that. And maybe I even ask myself questions like, well, why am I doing this? Okay. Like, is that good? Maybe I should do something. It puts you in a position of curiosity. And I think curiosity is really, really important for these sparkly boot moments.
Yeah. This also shines a spotlight on anxiety. Like, anxiety, like, screams this message at you. It's like, sparkly boots are the end of the world. And so avoid having to wear them at all costs. And exactly what you said, it's like, no, there's this gift in chaos. So I've gone to counseling for anxiety like a few times, but one of the things that stuck with me is the guy, he encouraged me, is like, do things where the outcome is uncertain, just to like see that they're safe and like that they're okay to do. If the outcome is uncertain, it's fine. So for me, it's like shining a spotlight on anxiety can be a hindrance to some like really unexpected, beautiful things.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, and Jenny, for you and Paul, I've got to imagine that story is going to become kind of a core memory for the two of you.
Yes.
And it's like, had you gone home to get the boots, you would have missed it.
Right.
Had they said no to Delaney playing,
Right.
all of you would have missed it.
Right.
And
And as a parent, your first thing is like, how do I save her?
How do I save her?
How do I
Yeah,
save her? I don't want to get
100%.
buried.
Yeah.
But she didn't have to be saved.
Yeah.
And there's something
That's
cool
big.
in there, you know, as a parent.
That's really big.
It was awesome. Well, to end us, you'll find this funny. So then her practice was on Tuesday. And I was driving her to practice, and I said, you got your basketball shoes on, right? And she looked down and said, she put her Nikes on, just her tennis shoes. I was all, oh, well. Let's go.
well, it just becomes one of those things. It's like, is it really that big of a deal?
did it again.
These things that we're so afraid of. It's like, dude, they're shoes.
Yep.
And how often these things that we have that fear of, once you experience it, you're like, oh, like what your counselor said. It's okay. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to come away from this trying to figure out what are the sparkly boots that I'm always wearing. Like, not just like, oh, I forgot, oh, I wasn't prepared, but it's just like, what is the thing that I constantly view as the sparkly boots, and how can I shift my perspective?
That's really good.
As like, this is actually an opportunity for something different. That's a gift.
So if any of you guys are wondering, Stetson is a size what shoe?
11.
All right. So if some sparkly Uggs show up for you at the church,
Get on
Dude.
the Amazon.
That'd be amazing.
that'd be amazing.
That would be really cool.
Also, if you have any topics or anything that you want us to discuss, we asked you last time, you can let us know in the comments. You can email us, because Steven can't do it all, but maybe he can.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.